Hello. Okay, here we are. Generally do this in the morning, but this morning I had a lot of housework to do and completely winging this, except for that my very dear beloved friend has given me lots of information. Um, we saw a lot of texts going around about, oh my gosh, the White House is dark at night. It's true. It seems really bizarre. Um, Maverick something, Mustang Maverick, is on boots on the ground in Washington, D.C. now. He's from Texas. He wears a big cowboy hat, and he's been there since January 6th. And he said, we're going to put this to rest once and for all. And he's walking the streets at night, and it's ominous at best. I've been to Washington, D.C. twice. There's a creepy, icky vibe there. But when they went to the White House and they're trying to show it, it's completely dark, save the obelisk is lit. And two uniformed men on bikes, and this is a criticism against our Mustang man. He asked, oh, why are the lights out at the White House? And they said, oh, they go off between 10 and 11 and don't come on till the next night. I think they meant to say Dave. The videographer said, well, the Secret Service says that they always go off every night. And he didn't press them. I don't know how he ascertained that they were Secret Service men. They look like two cops on bikes. So he didn't say, well, since when has this happened? Is this always happening? Why is this happening? As he was doing his walkabout, similar to what Jason Goodman has been doing in New York, all the other government buildings are fully lit. They're illuminated all about, and that is generally, isn't it, a safety situation? For instance, when Obama put the lights, the Pride lights on, and all these lights, did the White House go in fact dark at 10 o'clock at night? Does seem odd to me. There are videos out there that in this dark of night, there's a lot of activity. People on top of this, some are calling it a guillotine or gallows. Looks like a parking ramp structure to me, but to booger up the White House lawn with this gigantic parking ramp, open, multi-layered structure there seems odd to me. And then you also have seen, the numerous black cars that are just boom, boom, going about the White House in the deep of night. So I've been thinking for some time that we're actually under a military coup from China, and I'm starting to see this rhetoric being said by other people now, just not crazy me. Always makes me feel a little bit better. Here, I'm going to start looking at what we got here. For instance, it's one of the things that my friend sent me. Myanmar is now under military occupation because they say their November election was the FR word. And the BBC are reporting this allegation as a Trumpian allegation. Remember when military occupation was an unpleasantry in other countries. So again, is their they don't have a White House, but their place of command center under barbed wire fence. We're going to call it barbed wire fence. I'm not calling it razor wire. It's funny. They don't want it to be referenced to as, barbed wire, but they're keeping that up. So very concerning. Now, my friend said that she had heard that they weren't really executive orders, that she had heard them referenced to as executive actions. So executive order, and what would be the difference? So would an action be is it like a mandate? There are several GOP leaders and governors of red states are going after Biden right now for severe abuse of power already. I mean, we're into 43 executive actions / orders within not even 2 weeks, and they're biggies. Save the one where you can't say China virus on federal property, or it's not across the country. If he could, he would. But that just makes me think even more so that this is a Chinese coup. It's China who's got a hold of our country, because why would they care? Well, Biden, Beijing Biden cares about calling it the China virus. And who I mean, this is what they're doing. Oh, well, let's see. What else can we do? Oh, we didn't like Trump saying China, but I mean, China would really dislike that. As far as the I think it's really important to know for a lot of us who are, 16+1, wondering what's going on, are they actions or are they orders? Executive orders are published in the Federal Register. Remember, those EOs weren't published for 4 or 5 days after they were done. So people were like, oh, ha, 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 this is all, a big movie, nothing's happening. They're getting registered. And they are legally binding. They give presidents the power to create unilateral directives, though they can be overturned if a court rules they're unconstitutional. So a GOP member or governor or someone has to come out and say, this is unconstitutional, and let it get to the Supreme Court, which of course is suspect at best as far as upholding the Constitution. We really don't know where they stand. I don't have much faith for them ruling in an exact. Well, it will become outrageously transparent. For instance, if they rule constitutional that you can't say China virus, then I think we know where we're at. They're working feverishly for a committee to pack the Supreme Court, and with whom. Executive orders remain in place until rescinded or modified by a president, reversed by a court, or nullified by legislation, which would be our legislators. President Trump tried to overturn an EO from Obama, and the Democrats immediately took that would be what Biden is doing right now, overturning, for instance, the EpiPen and the insulin law that Trump worked so very hard on, and he felt he risked his life for, because he was very clear about the big pharma connection and how vicious they were. But when Trump did it, the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. Once an executive order has been put in by a previous president, it can't be overturned. That was my understanding. So I felt pretty confident that at this time, Biden would not be able to overturn President Trump's previous executive orders. I just heard from a very credible source that via the internet that Trump had almost 30 executive orders in his arsenal, his bag, for that last month. I thought, why wasn't he doing anything? I heard that they withheld Trump from doing that, because I thought, why isn't he going out with a bang and making all these executive orders? And another reason why I believe that Trump was held hostage and wasn't able to do what he wanted to do, that he didn't pardon Snowden. They were not going to allow, or Julian Assange. Really, he pardoned Lil Wayne. I mean, all of a sudden, Trump's demeanor and actions drastically change after January 6th. Executive actions, by contrast, bear little weight. I'm guessing it would be like a mandate. They're not published in the Federal Register and aren't subject to legal review. But these so-called threats to orders often draw reactions as sharp as responses to orders themselves. In other words, the general public confabulates order, action. To them, they mean the same because no one understands the law or how things actually work. In my state, we have a mandate and everyone's acting like it's law. And right, so even Google conflates them. Type executive action into the search bar, and the first results often data on executive order using the words as equivalents. Absolutely so true. Similar to the mandates versus law. We are, Trump said he was law and order. Law. So if it wasn't a law, then we didn't have to abide by it. But we've got our corporations and our retail stores implementing unconstitutional orders and mandates onto citizens of the United States, particularly with this masking. And now the CDC comes out with a recommendation from Dr. Fauci, who I loathe, to wear 2 masks. And within 24 hours, the airlines have made it, have put it into effect. So, and I believe the federal government said all federal building people now have to wear 2 masks. I mean, I can't laugh at this anymore. Eventually we need to cry because I can't wear 1 mask. And my daughter, we were talking on the phone and she put on a mask and she goes, Mom, I'm going to put on another mask. I literally couldn't even hardly hear her speak. I said, now put on 3 masks. And she's like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I said, 4. She goes, I don't own 4 masks. Put on 4 masks. I had some smart aleck on this YouTube channel here tell me that carbon dioxide wasn't toxic, that it was carbon monoxide, and talking all, flory, like he knew what the hell he's talking about. Carbon dioxide, it causes, when you breathe too much of it in, it causes your blood to be acidic. It is a toxic gas to humans. Is it as toxic? Well, I don't know if it's definitely toxic to the human body. And yes, you can die from it. Not as quickly as monoxide, because think of it, 1 oxygen versus, 2. But so no, that's not true. Everybody's an expert because they have Google at their fingertips, which completely is not serving the people. It's serving the state, the Chinese state. I saw something yesterday on, doesn't matter, and I think it's NTL or something like that, Chinese broadcasting, where they're locking them into their homes again right now. So and remember, it took us about a month later to get us locked into our homes again. And we have Biden at the helm. Locking them in their homes and in these stack and packs, the people are starving to death. And they're out screaming out their window on these high rises, we need food, let us out for food. The government brought some trucks, but out of 5,000, only 200 got food. And it consisted of this for a 2-week family of 4. 2 potatoes about this size, 2 carrots, a cabbage, and a really pathetic onion. And that was it, but only 200 got that. They're starving them to death again. This is China, and they're locking them up again. And our White House has said, don't call it the Chinese virus. When every other virus, Asian flu, Spanish flu, always, changing everything. Should we call it the Dr. Fauci virus? Fauci was involved with, this modification of this particular cold virus, common cold virus. And so, all right. Okay. Yeah, my friend writes, so the press could parrot all day long about big executive orders, but I've only heard Joe say executive action. Uh, and then we've got that I mean, that's press secretary. I mean, oh my God. Can they get dumber than her? Or is she that uninformed? I mean, she can't even do a good pretend. It's, I mean, that, I'll circle around to that. I think she's like, ooh, I caught on to that. I got to come up with something else. The fumbling, the stumbling, as I said before, when questioned about GameStop, the Secretary of Treasury, they didn't ask her, why did the White House call in on 5 trading companies and tell them to only allow selling? But hey, it's a female. Executive actions don't share the lengthy history. They didn't become common until the 2000s when they were political fodder for Obama, who issued dozens of the statements during his admin. Interesting. So these executive actions came in more during Obama. So search executive action, you get order. They don't even want us to get a clue. So there you go. They don't want the common people knowing the difference. They've got to keep us uneducated and uninformed. And then goes on to say, and I still think GameStop is an op designed to literally stop the game and tailspin us into a systematic collapse that is unstoppable. Oh, good God. Become so untrustful of everything any longer when I'm thinking, oh, right, this is one for the people. Nothing's worked out for the people. We don't have a win. I thought, oh, is this a win for us? Doesn't look that way, does it? Everything is being used. We're just so left in the dust. Again, in this battle, this war, we're being slaughtered. I mean, slaughtered. Now they're coming into the small towns. This is an analogy of just where the old men, the women, and the children are left with their few animals. And they're like, we got to take you out too. We are leaving no one alive. They've already slaughtered everyone on the battlefield. I'll use the analogy, coming to any man who still had any life in him. That's when they took down all of our conservatives on our internet. They took out our leader. They're wiping them all out. So yeah, now the silver's gone up. And is it going to be look what the white supremacists did? They destroyed the market, and now we have to come in globally. It's probably what it is. And we need to take away all cash. We need to take away all the GUNs. And if you own a home, you're going to have to give that up to the globe. I don't know. It's really horrifying what may be coming. I mean, it's because if they do that, the UN will come in and they'll round everybody up and they'll put us into camps and they're going to redistribute everything and they're going to give us jobs. And it will be a global nightmare. And, when I do these talks, I get really terrified. We will then be left with no choice but to beg for the reset. GameStop is already many times more damaging than the 2008 bailout situation. And if the government intervened, that would be for real, be by the quote Mussolini style fascism. We'd no longer have a free market. Of course, we're really only ever had the appearance of one, it seems to me. But not much of that would matter much in the face of systematic collapse. So, yeah. I've gone to the Reddit boards and now they're saying, let's go do the silver. But, I mean, they're saying that silver should be much higher. And I always thought silver seemed cheap. And I actually think copper is going to be a big deal. I heard people years ago say, fill your bathtub up with pennies. There's a shortage of coin right now. So, all right, and my phone's going to go dead. Jason Goodman, really have enjoyed his work. He does the walkabouts in New York, and he's lived there all of his life, and he's leaving New York like this week. And he's going to do a series called Ghost. It was always called Ghost Town, New York. Something I found particularly comical is the strip joint actually had booths outside in the street for strippers. I mean, this is how absurd this all is. They got hit with all that snow. So I don't know how the restaurant industry is going to be doing then, but he's going to be leaving. And he can't take it any longer. He loved his city. Definitely looks like 2/3 of all businesses are closed. It's destroyed. And Biden wants to make Cuomo his attorney general. So let's just destroy everything. But this is what they're figuring on. Cuomo's like, get rid of those. They hate us. They disdain us. All those businesses and restaurants that have been around since the 1800s and were staples of New York, get rid of them. And then they get the federal money that Biden's going to give. Trump said no. And I said no, too. Most of us said no. It was a systematic destruction so they can rebuild. See, the rebuild back better. We will, because their philosophy, the Luciferian occultist philosophy, is Phoenix, burned out of the ashes. Well, before you have ashes, you have to burn it all down to restart. Order out of chaos. In order to get order, you got to cause chaos. They thrive on destruction. Easier to destroy something than it is to create. And they fail miserably generally when they're recreating. They're lazy, they mismanage the money. They don't have the entrepreneurial spirit. Inclusive capitalism is what's going to be on the horizon. So the rebuild back better means if you are anybody but a white person, you take precedence to be an entrepreneur. Inclusive capitalism. Well, the persons of color, the black man tends to be really good at sports. Could you imagine if we said exclusive sports and only white men could do sports? Well, we'd have a whole different, I guess it would all go down to, that's another, but that's absurdity. It's racism. It should be the blacks are predominant in sports because they're better at it. They're better than because of their muscle structure. Is that racist to say? Goes back to the genetics, which I found my genetics book from college, people. Oh my gosh, so happy. I'm like, I've held on to this for like ever. We'll be, sharing some of that information with you, but, that ancient genetics from, it moves on. So that's what they'll do in New York. They're going to have inclusive capitalism, make loans for, I'm guessing the black transvestite, transgender is top of the list of business owner. Well, we'll see how they do, won't we, I guess. I guess things do just keep getting worse, because I stopped saying long ago, well, it couldn't get any worse. Oh my goodness, yes it can. As we've seen now with the 2 masks, I can't breathe with 1, let alone 2. Now you need 1. Can you 2 hours on an airplane? suffocating. And if they're not there to serve you like they used to be. They're there to make sure your mask stays above your nose. That's their job. And nope, no peanuts, no drinks. Keep that mask on. You want to travel somewhere, you're going to pay, and you're going to pay dearly. Because only the elites, they're flying. You ever see some of these jets? They're not wearing masks. They're drinking champagne. They're laughing while they fly over all of us common scum that they despise. They hate us. They hate us. So, no problem. Watching us die. Watching us die. So, now Jason's live walking through the blizzard. Oh, wow. She just said that. I love Jason's walk-arounds. I guess he's doing it now with the blizzard. Vice News called him Q. Jason is the farthest freaking thing from Q I've ever seen in my. Absolutely, he needs to sue for slander. And everything's Q now. So I went to a video. What was it about? Something obscure. Nothing Q related whatsoever, and there's a disclaimer underneath it for Q. Seriously? They don't even know what it is. So either they're so frightened of it, and to call Jason's actually denounced Q over and over and over. He's like, he thought it was a psyops, he's come out against it. I can't tell you how many times. He's never made even a reference that you might think he even has any knowledge about it. So Jason Goodman, sue them. No doubt. And I was watching, it was called The White Princess, and it was about Queen Elizabeth, this pre-King Henry VIII, how the Tudor, the red and the white rose, the Plantagenet, the white rose, the red rose, was the Tudor family, which is, I believe, predominant in America right now. And Richard Plantagenet was king, and he was to a Tudor, Henry Tudor, slaughtered him, killed him unlawfully, or took him out and took the crown, and so there wasn't the bloodline transfer that was so important to royalty. And to make amends with the people, this would be similar to what happened with Trump. Trump's the rightful president. Biden comes in, rhetorically kills him, takes the crown, but didn't have the support of the people, the majority of the people. But to make it more palatable, let's say Biden would have married one of Trump's daughters. So in the King Henry times, Henry, who took over, who killed Richard, married a Plantagenet daughter, Elizabeth. All right, and so that's the joining of the red and the white rose. You've heard of War of the Roses. They become, so you can see, they realize how they do not have the support of the people, and the people keep wanting to uprise and put in the proper. Elizabeth's brother would have been the next in succession, the one who Henry married, her brother. She had a brother and a cousin, okay? And those would have been the rightful heirs. And there's plotting going on from the people, and they bringing them down. But eventually she, in order to get the alliance with Spain, because all the other countries, it would be, think about what's happening now. All the other countries are saying, that looks like a takeover. All right. I mean, they were hiding the true brother. And Spain says to Elizabeth, you need to kill your brother and your cousin. And then we will join sides with you, and you will have, Spain at that time was the most powerful military force and would have been able to wipe out the rest of the country's alliances with England. All right. And she cut both of their heads off, her brother and her cousin, to regain power. But you could see the desperation and how desperate they become and how they will do anything to maintain their power. I see the Biden administration right now very desperate and very dangerous. Very dangerous, because when they realize they're may lose power, yeah, they would rhetorically, again, by example, go as far as killing their own brother. All right, and that's where we're at right now. We have countries that see what happened to us. Other countries see that our White House is under barbed wire fence and military occupation. My family in Austria is going, what's going on there in America? I'm like, I don't know. So it was just very dangerous. It's very dangerous times. Now they want to say that anyone who traded in GameStop is a financial insurrectionist. So now they've just added a bunch of, I'm certain Biden voters were in on that little game. So now what do we have? Say 100 million. What do we got? Over half the country now is an insurrectionist. What are they gonna do with this all? That's a lot of people to feed, stick in FEMA camps and take out of the workforce. So, are they really thinking clearly? No, they're not thinking clearly. Look at the panic with the impeachment. I don't think Trump's going to run again. I don't think he should. I think he should leave. If there is a country left, which at this point I'm highly doubtful of, I'd say Rick Santeas out of Florida. Of course, you don't want him to leave Florida because he's doing a wonderful job there. I mean, and you've got what's going on. What do we do? Does Florida and Texas become its own country? Yes, please do. Separate from the UN. I mean, what are we going to do here, people? What are we going to do? Wearing 2 and 3 and 4 masks. My aunt, which I don't know if she was serious or not. She's like, because she's a masker. One of my best friends who voted for Trump, completely conservative. She went to go see her brand new grandson, and she was taking pictures of him wearing a mask in their house. I was like, and she's a nurse though, but I'm thinking, because you're a nurse? How that broke my heart to see that. So, this mask thing, why do I keep talking about a mask? It all comes down to the mask. It's the origin. It's the seed of the monstrous tree that is they are watering. It all comes down to the mask. Because if you're willing to wear 2 masks because they say so, and now I thought that anal testing was only for a certain strain of coronavirus. No, it's for this one. It's a better test because we all know, the other one was a big farce. They're having to come out now and say, oh, that's true. We did do those revolutions too many, and it did find a fragment if you ever had a common cold. So now this one is going to be the new test, the anal one. And how many of you are science? I believe in science. Science is not a religion. I believe in science because you don't believe in anything else. You don't believe in God. You don't have Jesus Christ in your heart. Science is not a belief system, but for these atheists and agnostics, Luciferians and Satanists and the occultists know there's a God. They know there's a Jesus Christ. They're choosing the adversary to Christ, and they're down for the war. I've thought about making the plague mask. The big beak comes all the way down, going out in that. And Trump stopped the funding. Oh, that was the WHO. The CDC says wear 2 masks. Gone are the days where you can decide what to do with your own body. Everybody who's allowing this is giving away their most God-gifted right, which is autonomy over their own body. And all these crazy leftists who said, my body, my choice, only when it comes to murder. Biden has now passed, it's called due date abortion. Due date abortion. You can abort up to the doctor, to the date that the doctor gives you that your baby is due. Due date abortion, called healthcare. Outrageous, sinful, evil, outrageous, murder, despicable, monstrous. If you get raped, you've got the day after pill, my dear girl. I don't have a problem with that. You make a mistake, you choose not to have birth control. My girls, we were very poor there for a bit. I sent them down to Planned Parenthood. They gave them bags full of condoms and birth control and free and Plan B. If you don't have money, birth control has always been available for you for free from Planned Parenthood. Always, 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 always. So what's your excuse for getting pregnant? There is none. There's no excuse for getting pregnant in this day and age. We have really adequate birth control. You can get an IUD for 10 years implanted into you for free from Planned Parenthood. There's no other reason to have an abortion in this day and age. No, we don't live in the 50s where birth control was not readily available. There's nothing even close. So you're going to just grow the baby in you while you're deciding whether or not I can do it. Well, maybe not emotionally. Don't think I'm up for it. I think I'll kill it at 9.5 months. I've had 4 children. I have 2 grandchildren. I've seen babies be born. Knowing a baby comes out this big and fully, all of it, and that our government says it's okay to kill that. I think about, I'm telling you, they hate life. They hate people. They want it. I mean, anyone who can fight as hard as those feminist women do, and to be proud of an abortion, it's shameful. You should be ashamed to be proud of your murder. It's shameful. And then they say, oh, the right, they sure have a baby born into poverty. Sure, you don't feed them, you just want them to be born. Yeah. If you're that concerned about them, put them up for adoption. If you don't want the baby, put it up for adoption then. After you've, because their big thing is, I know I want to conclude here real soon, but the big thing generally is, what about rape victims? Well, when you've been raped, and the next morning, you were raped. So the day after pill is available for free from Planned Parenthood, walk your butt down to Planned Parenthood and tell them you were raped, even at, or you don't have to share that information. Say, I need a Plan B pill. Done. So what's the argument for carrying the baby full term and then deciding to kill it? Why am I talking about this pro-life stuff right now? Because they just had a pro-life march at the White House, and Biden's administration put all the armed guards out against the pro-life people. The dangerous women out there who want to, you know, armed to the hilt in front of their barbed wire. Now, what if it was a pro-choice event? Would Biden's administration put the cops out there, or the military rather? And then the ultimate funny of them all, to just make us all go, we're living in a fucked clown world. Everything's reversed, satanic world. BLM is up for a Nobel Peace Prize. And watch them get it. Watch them receive it. Trump, who negotiated peace 4 times, right? They didn't give it to him. I knew they wouldn't. Watch Black Lives Matter get the Peace Prize. The most vicious, outrageous, burning pigs in the street. I watched hours and hours of live stream videos, all gone now. You have to just, you know, here I am. If there's no proof, they deleted all, it didn't exist. Nope. Truth still exists. Not because it's not on the internet and because I can't show you a video. You know, what happened to the keepers of truth, the elders who'd say, you know, my dad would tell me what happened in war. I have no evidence. I believe him. He's a reporter. He's a, you know, what do they call those? The storytellers. I know what I saw at the Black Lives Matter in the evening. Yeah, I know about what went on during the day, but I'm talking about what went on at night and the viciousness. A Peace Prize? This is just this is like another stick up your ass. It's another way of demoralizing, you know, putting you down. See the authority we have, all the way down to what war is peace. Peace is war. Good is evil. Black is white. It's all reversed. We are going to have war. Vicious, outrageous, gigantic war. Lady Gaga has shown us. War is coming. Vicious war is coming. She didn't have a tiny little dove on. She had herself a nice, monstrous, golden dove, which means war. Because now we know their language. BLM was complete violence, destruction, burning, looting, you know, violence, killing. They shot patriots in the face. Nothing ever happened to them. I've seen the footage. The Proud Boys' lives don't matter. They just get shot right in the face and nothing happens. Just walking in the streets. How many times did that happen? Right? BLM, Antifa, it's Blantifa. They really are one and the same. You know, they can't separate themselves. Blantifa, combining BLM with Antifa. There's nothing peaceful about them. They're all about violence. Okay, that's that. And thank you, over and out.